I wanted to address trauma in a separate video because I felt like it was its own beast that was keeping me from reaching my full potential and healing. I do believe that it is the main cause of all of my symptoms because my trauma has been lifelong, and it doesn't have to be for it to be the root cause of something. Um, but basically, without going into it, any kind of abuse or trauma that you could name in your head, I've most likely been through almost all of it. And, they say that it even starts as young as in the womb. If you have a mother who is in a bad position, maybe anxious, it can start as early as that and start wiring your brain. And so when you're living in that constant fight or flight for that many years, it absolutely can affect the way that your body is reacting to things. And that's just your body, your limbic system trying to keep you safe, but it could end up feeling uncomfortable or giving you anxiety or something that isn't helpful for living a full life. After reading the book The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Deutsch, I realized that I had been wired since childhood to be drawn to people that were exactly like that. People who were going to make the trauma worse, basically. And this was friends and romantic relationships. I would choose people who would contribute to that over, somebody that you could rationally see would be a better friend or somebody who was reciprocal of a friendship. And it's taken a long time for me to come to terms with that and forgive myself for making the decisions that I had. But that's just my body, the way that it learned to care for myself and keep me safe in situations. It was coming out in all of my relationships. So I'm in the process of rewiring so that I'm drawn to people who are healthy relationships. And I'm learning, even at 35 years old now, that people that have issues, and just because they have shared trauma, that doesn't mean it's a match for us. That's something really important to remember, especially for somebody who's an empath who just wants to help others. We, at the end of the day, have to take care of ourselves, because when we have self-care, then that really is caring for the other people in our lives. A lot of the limbic system and ANS rewiring programs really were helping calm down my limbic system and my whole nervous system in general. And so for me, I was glad that I waited until about 5 months to really go in and seek help for the trauma. I knew that I couldn't just ignore it, and that I wouldn't be able to reach my full potential if I didn't address it and release all of it. I had been to traditional therapy for many, many years in my life. Traditional therapy is absolutely a necessary thing, and it helps so many different types of people. But for me, for some reason, I think going over the things that were hurting me for so many years was actually starting to make my symptoms worse, because all I was doing was thinking about it. And there were some forms of releasing it, like crying it out and getting to get the help of somebody else who could help me rationalize it. But for some reason with my illness, it just wasn't enough. And so I started seeking out and researching things like EMDR and faster EFT. And I decided, after doing the free 7-day faster EFT course, which I have down in the description, I realized that this was for me and that I would need a coach to guide me through it, because I was going through so much already trying to rewire my limbic system that I knew I needed somebody to guide me through all of that. Some of the other rewiring programs actually suggest not doing faster EFT while you're rewiring your limbic system, but I found that after my nervous system started to calm down, I was personally ready to do that, and I think it's your own personal journey and what works for you. The way faster EFT works is it makes peace with the unconscious, which is trying to help keep you safe. And so a lot of the symptoms we have are from our bodies being in this fight or flight state, not having any time to relax. It's not natural for our bodies to feel like we're being chased by a cougar 24/7. You know, that's the way that humans were made, and they were made for short spans of anxiety like that to keep them safe, to get them away from something like an animal. But, you know, in this modern world, we don't need our bodies to stay in that state for a long time. So that's when the sickness starts coming in. Working with my amazing coach, she has really been helping me. She's helping me identify behaviors that are unhelpful for me and to rewire those and change them. Things that I'm ruminating about, and realizing that I should only participate in things that help me and serve me. And so at 35 years old, I'm finally learning that it's okay and necessary to have things like boundaries. I'm not an expert with faster EFT, but from my understanding, what it does is it cuts off and redirects the neural programming that we have in our unconscious mind, and it assigns a new emotion and meaning to it, which is automatic, because we can't control what's in our unconscious minds. Even if we know the true story or we feel like we're over it, we have to actually go back and change the associated emotion so that our bodies don't physically react like they are anymore. And I have so much hope for this because I've already seen so many positive changes in me and just my attitude in general. And so this is something that if you feel like you need to add to your regimen of healing yourself, I would highly recommend it. And I have the recommendations for the coach that's been a lifesaver to me in the description in this video. It's given me more confidence. My sense of my real self, I feel like, is coming back to me. And it's helping me feel like I'm the mom that I was supposed to be as well. When we're caring for ourselves, then that trickles down to our children, and that's so important to me. So just know that we have the power to change all of this, the way that we were wired, even if it was from when we were in the womb. And we have the power to be able to make our own choices and change the reactions of our subconscious and form new reactions to life experiences so that we can make informed choices without letting the state of our health affect that. So I hope that this has given some of you some hope. I will update when I can about my progress, but it's something that I feel like trauma is just its own thing. And if you have experienced especially emotional trauma, it's something that you should consider. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this with other people who might need it. And I wish all of you well and sending healing.